Welcome back guys. In this lecture we are going to discuss about the div tag in HTML. So div is one of the normal HTML tag which is used to add more than one HTML elements in a single place. So it's very difficult to understand the div by just definition. First we will see the example and then we will discuss the definition of div afterwards. First I will create a new file with the name div.html. So in this div.html, first I will complete the HTML formalities. HTML head. In this head we have to write the title. The title of our lecture is div, and we have to create body after the head. So in this body we have to add some of the HTML tags. I am going to add the h1 tag. This is h1. And I will add h3. This is h3. After this h3 I will add the paragraph tag. This is paragraph, and I will add the one more tag as OL. OL means order list. So in this OL list we have to add the list items. Li list item 1, and the second li element is list item 2. So we have created 4 different HTML tags: h1, h3, p, ol. In this ol tag again we have 2 child elements which are called as list items. Ol means order list, li means list item. Now I am going to execute this program. Open Google Chrome. And in this URL we have to type file path of the HTML. Desktop, folder name frontend, file name is div.html. Here you can see we got the output. This is the first h1 and this is the h3 and this is the paragraph, and after the paragraph we have one order list. In that order list we have 2 list items, list item 1, list item 2. So suppose if you want to add same styling to these all 4 HTML tags, we have to add styling to the h1, we have to add styling to the h3, we have to add styling to the paragraph, and at last we have to add the styling to the OL tags. Now I will show you. So first we have to add the style in the head part. First I will add the background color to the h1 as orange. And for h3 we have to add the same styling, background color orange, and for h4, not h4, after the h3 we have paragraph tag, color orange, and after the paragraph we have OL, background color orange. That's it. Control S. Now let's check the output whether the background color is added to the all 4 HTML elements or not. Here you can see the orange background color is added to all the 4 HTML tags: h1, h3, paragraph, order list. Suppose if you want to add margin left to these h1, h3, paragraph, ol, all the elements, again we have to write margin left to all the 4 tags. Now I will add the margin left to h1, margin left to 20 px. For h3 also I will add margin left 20 px. For p I will add the margin left 20 px. And for ol also I will add the margin left 20 px. Here you can see all the tags moved 20 pixels away from the left side. So to achieve this output we have written almost more than 15 lines of CSS code. You can see 4 lines, 4 lines, 4 lines, 4 lines. So 4 into 4, 16. So we have to add same styling to different elements. We have written 16 lines of CSS code. We can avoid this situation by using the HTML element which is called as div. We just need to place all these child elements in one div, and we have to add the styling to that div only. Now I will copy these 4 HTML elements, remove this and add one div. Now I will show you the syntax of div. Less than symbol, div, greater than symbol, and in between this closing tag and the opening tag we have to add the child elements. Here div is the parent element, and the elements which are present inside the div are called as child elements. So to add the styling to all the child elements, we need to add styling to only the parent element. For all these 4 child elements, the parent element is div. So instead of adding styling all child elements, we have to add styling to only parent element. So remove all these dump and create only styling for div. Remove this and create div, and for this div we have to add the background color as orange. Background color as orange, and the margin left is equal to 20. Control S. Hit refresh. Here you can see we got the same output. Margin 20, background color is orange. We have completed this complete styling in just only 2 lines. Background color, margin left. We have applied styling to only parent element. So if you apply styling to the parent element, that styling will be applied to the child elements automatically. We need not to add different styling to all the child elements. So this is the advantage of div element in HTML. So now we will do some of the complex operations with the help of div. Suppose if you want to move this complete div up to 100 pixels from the right side, then we have to use the margin right 100 pixels to the div. So it will give 100 pixels gap from the right side. So now I will write margin right is equal to 100 px. I will hit the refresh. Here you can see we got 100 pixels margin to complete div. So this margin will be applied to all the child elements also. Now I will add the margin top as 100 pixels from the div. mtop 100 px. Control S. Here you can see we got margin top is equal to 100, margin right is equal to 100, and margin left is just 20. Now I will change this margin left to 20 to the 100. 20, so here 20, now I will change it to the 100. Control S. Hit refresh. Here you can see now the div element is exactly located horizontally centered. From right side there is 100 pixels gap, and from left side also there is 100 pixels gap. So here if you want to add the margin bottom also, you can add. Now I will add the margin bottom also. Margin bottom 100 px. Here you can see the div element is exactly located at the center of the page. From bottom 100, from top 100, from left and right also the space is 100. In the next video we are going to discuss about how to add the styling to the child elements which are present in the parent element. Means this div, this yellow color background is the div, and these h1 h3 paragraph list items are the child elements which are present inside the div. So in the next video I will show you how to change the styling of these child elements. Here we have created the div element. Inside the div element we have added 4 different HTML child elements. The 4 different HTML child elements are h1, h3, p, ol. In this ol also again we have 2 child elements, they are li elements. And we have added the styling like background color and margin to the parent element which is called as div. So this is the code, and for output of this code, this code is here. So here you can see the margin left, margin right, margin top and margin bottom. So first I will decrease the margin from all the sides. Instead of 100 I will add margin only just 50, 50, 50, 50. Here also we need to add 50. Control S. Here you can see now the element is located at the center of the page. Oh, before also the element is center of the page, but now we cannot scroll this page, it is constant. So now I will add the border color to the div element. Border. For this border we have to add three things. The first one is height or width of the border. I will add 2px. And the second is type of the border. Type is always solid. And the third is color. Color of the border is I will add black. Control S. Now let's check the output. You can see the border is added successfully. The border color for the div element is black and the background color for the div element is orange. Now we will discuss how to add the styling to the elements which are present inside the div. So for the better understanding, I will create one more h1 element outside the div. So outside the div, I will create one h1 element. This is outside the div. Control S. Sorry. So here there is margin 50, that's why the element is located at top of the screen. Here you can see this is the h1 text and it is outside the div. Now I will zoom down this window. Yeah, it's looking better. This is the outside div h1 element and this is the inside div h1 element. Now I want to add the h1 element color to the div is red. For the h1 element which is present inside the div, I want to add the color red. Now I will create one h1 element in the style and I will add the color as red. Control S. Hit refresh. Here you can see for both the h1 text which is located outside the div and which is located inside the div, for both the h1 text the color is changed. So this is not what we want. I want to change the color of the h1 text which is located inside the div. So here comes the CSS selectors. We have to use the CSS selectors whenever you have more than one type of element. So here we have the h1 element 2 times, that's why we have to use the CSS selectors. So for the h1 element which is present inside the div, I will use the CSS selector class X. So if you want to add styling to this h1 element which is present inside the div, you have to add styling to the class X because h1 element is denoted by class X. Now I will add the styling to the class X. Dot X. Dot is denoted by, class is denoted by dot. I will write color red. And for normal h1 text, the color will be black automatically. That's why I will remove this color. Now for the h1 text outside the div, the color will be red after refreshing. I will hit refresh. Here you can see for the h1 text which is outside the div, the color is black, and for the inside h1 text the color is red because we have added color to the element which is present inside the div using the CSS selector. So like this way we have to add CSS selectors to the all the elements which are present inside the parent elements, that means div. So like this h1 I will add the CSS selectors to the h3 and paragraph and list items also. So for h3 I will use the class as y, and for p I will use the class as z, and for ol I will use the class as a. Now I will add the different CSS property to the h3. Already we have completed the color property to the h1. Now I will add the background color property to the h3. So for class y dot y, we have to add the background color. Background color blue. Control S. Now let's check the output. For h3 we will get the background color blue after hitting the refresh. Here you can see for h3 we got the background color blue. Now we will add some different CSS property to the paragraph. For paragraph I will add the margin left property. So for paragraph we have written the class Z. So here I will write dot Z, that means class Z. Class Z I will write margin left as 20 pixels. I will hit refresh. After hitting refresh, the paragraph will start after 20 pixels gap from the left side. Here you can see we got the gap from the left side. This gap is called as margin. Now we are left with only one child element that is present in the div, which is called as OL element. For OL element, I want to use the background color property only. So OL is denoted by A. That's why I will use class A dot A. I will use background color as brown. Control S. Now I will hit the refresh. Here you can see for the OL elements we got the brown background color. So like this way we can add the styling to the inside elements which are present in the div using the CSS selectors, CSS display property. First I will create a new file in the front end folder. The file name is display.html. So in this display.html, first I will complete the HTML formalities. HTML head, the title is display, and after this head part I will write the body part. In this body part, first I will create one h1 tag. This class is about display. Control S. Now let's execute this program. Open Google Chrome, and in this URL we have to type local disk C and our file name. So in the desktop folder, the folder name is frontend and the file name is display.html. Display.html. Here we go. We got our class title. This class is about display. Now I am going to explain what is the CSS display property. Before getting started about the display property, first I will show you a real-time example how this display property is used. So first I will create two h1 tags. After this, here I will use one br tag, so we will get one line. Control S. Sorry, not br, we have to use hr to get the horizontal line. HR, refresh. Here you can see we got the horizontal line. Now I will create two h1 tags. This is first h1 and the second is second h1. Control S. Now let's check the output. Here you can see we got two h1 text one after another. That means in the vertical order. So if you observe this, we can understand that h1 text is taking complete width of the screen. Whenever you write the second h1 text, it will be added after completing the first h1. You can see this is complete h1 text, and after this complete h1 text only the second h1 text is added. So if I add the background color, you will understand better. I will create the style tags in the head. For the h1 I will create the background color as orange. Control S. Here you can see the h1 is taking complete width. Whenever an HTML element is taking the complete width, then that HTML element display property is block. There are three different display properties present in the CSS. They are display block, display inline, and display inline block. So in this video we are going to discuss about block and inline elements. So the element which is taking the complete width is called as block element. Here you can see all the three HTML h1 elements taken complete width. The content is up to here only. So for this h1 text, the content is up to here. The content is, but it is taken complete width. If you observe this first h1 text, the content is up to here only. Whatever the text I have marked, this is up to the content, but it is taken the complete width. This is called as block element. All the block elements will take complete width of the screen. So now I will show you the element which is the inline element. Inline element will take up to the content, width up to the content. So the best example for inline element is anchor tag. So here I will create two anchor tags. A. So if you want to give any URL in this href attribute, you should give or you can ignore it. So this is first anchor tag, control S, and here I will write this is second anchor tag, control S. Now I will execute this program. Here you can see we got two anchor tags side by side, not one after another. We got two anchor tags side by side. This is because of anchor tags are by default inline elements. Inline elements will be arranged in the horizontal order. That means side by side. When it comes to the H1 element, it is arranged one after another. That means vertical order. So in simple words, we can say that display block elements are vertical order, display inline elements are horizontal order. So in the further lectures, we are going to see all the tags which are display block and display inline. In this video, we are going to concentrate only on the display block and display inline properties. We are not discussing about the HTML tags. Now we will discuss how to convert the display block element to the display inline element and display inline element to the display block element. First we will see block to inline. So we can remove these anchor tags. Control S. I will refresh the window. Here you can see we have two H1 text with the display block. So now I want to convert these H1 element display property to the inline. That means if inline elements are, if there are two inline elements, that will be arranged side by side. I want two H1 elements to be arranged side by side. That means first H1 text here, second H1 text here. How can we do that? We have to change the CSS display property of the H1. We just need to add only one line in the CSS H1. So now I will show you the syntax. Here for the H1 we have to write the property as display. And by default H1 elements are block elements. Now we have to convert the H1 elements display property to the inline. That's it. When you convert a display to the inline, that elements will be arranged in the horizontal order. That means side by side. Now I will execute this program. Here you can see we got two H1 elements side by side. This is first H1, this is second H1. If you remove display inline, that will be arranged in the vertical order. Now I will remove display inline. Control S. Here you can see we got the two H1 elements vertical order. So whenever you use the display block, that elements will take complete width and they will be arranged in the vertical order. When you convert those property to the inline, then that elements will be arranged in the horizontal order. That means side by side. Now I will add the display inline. Here you can see we got the two elements side by side. If you add the third H1 text also, it will be added here, not here, because all the display inline elements are arranged in the vertical order. So it will fit up to the screen. Now I will create the third H1 text. This is third H1, Control S. Here you can see we got the third H1. So if you create the fourth H1, it will take width if it is required. So if the fourth H1 text fits in this place, then it will be arranged here. So if the text size is more than this place, then it will be arranged here. Now let's see the fourth H1 text, whether it will be added here or here. This is fourth H1, Control S. Here you can see we got the fourth H1 text, but the width is not enough for this text. That's why some of these characters went down. This is fourth up to here and this H1 went to down. So this is the display inline property, and we have converted the display block element to the display inline element. Now we will see how to convert the display inline element to the display block elements. That means we have to convert the horizontal direction elements to the vertical direction. So first I will remove these all H1 text, Control S, and I will write two anchor tags. This is first anchor tag, and here I will write this is second anchor tag, Control S. Now let's check the output. Here you can see by default all the anchor tags are display inline elements, that means horizontal order. Now we have to convert these to the vertical order, that means we have to convert the display block to the not display block, display inline to the display block. So first we have to create the CSS anchor tag, and here we have to write display, we just need to write block, Control S. Now let's check the output. I will hit the refresh button. Here you can see we got the second anchor tag in the vertical direction. When you add the third anchor tag also, it will be added by the next line. So I will add the third anchor tag. This is third anchor tag, Control S. Here you can see we got the third anchor tag. So we have converted the display inline elements to the display block elements. That means this anchor tag is taken complete width. It is taken up to here. This is also up to here. This third anchor tag also up to here. So we have to keep only one thing in mind. Display inline elements will take content width. The width will be up to the content only. Display block elements will take complete width. That means screen width. Or we can remember that display inline elements are horizontal order, display block elements are vertical order. So in HTML, almost 90% of the elements are display block elements only. That means 90% of the HTML elements will take complete width, screen width. Only few like these anchor tags will take width up to the content. Already I have said the CSS display properties are three values: display inline, display block, and display inline block. The combination of inline and block. Now in this video we are going to discuss about that. So first I will create one div. In this div I will create one h1 tag. I will write this is div1. I have created one parent element which is called div. In that parent element I have created the child element with the h1 text. This is div1. Now let's check the output. Here you can see this is div1. Now I will add some background color to this div. For the div1 I will add the background color as orange red, Control S. Here you can see it is taken complete width. That means div is the display block element. Whatever the HTML element, if it is taking complete width, then that element display property will be block element. So to confirm that, we have to create the one more div. So if the second div is added right side of the first div, then that element display property is inline. If the second element is added bottom of the first element, then that element display property is block. So now I will create the second div. Div h1. This is div2, Control S. Now let's check the output. Here you can see we got the second div element after the first element, not side by the first element. So we have confirmed that div is the block element. Now we will see how to convert these block element to the inline element. Already in the previous lecture only we have discussed how to convert the display block element to the display inline element. Now let's try that method to convert these display block to the display inline. That means I want to place the second div right side of the first div. So for this div I will write the display property with inline, Control S. Let's check whether it is working or not. Here you can see there is no change, but we have some mistake. The background color is gone. So this is the special case in HTML. In HTML elements there are some tags which we cannot convert the display block to the display inline. So to convert that tags to the display inline, we have to use the third display value that is called as inline block. So we have to write inline hyphen block. So this is the special case. Afterwards, I will explain the different elements which follow these case. Here, the best example for inline block is div. Suppose if you want to convert the display block to the display inline for the div, we have to use display inline block. You have to keep it in mind. This is the special case. Afterwards, we will discuss how it will be the special case. First, we have to see whether it is working or not. Here you can see we got the two div elements side by side. If you create the third div also, that will be added here, not here, because we have added the display property for the div is display inline block. Now I will explain. I will create the third div h1. This is div 3. Control S. Here you can see we got the third div elements right side of the second div element. So whenever you want to convert the div display block to the display inline, we have to use display inline block. If you use only inline, it will give the error, and this div will not be converted to the display inline. Now I will explain the reason why it is happening. If you observe the div tag here div is not a single tag, it is a parent tag in which we have the child tags. So the tag which is having the child tags, that tags will not be converted directly from display block to the display inline. The tag which is having the child elements, for the tags we have to use the inline block, because in these parent elements again we have the child elements in which for these child element the display is block. For h1 the display is block. Here also for h1 the display is block. So here you need not to remember all these things. Whenever you want to convert the display block to the display inline for the div, we have to use display inline block. This is one of the special case in HTML. So now we will recap all the display properties. The first is display block element. Display block elements will take complete width. The best example for display block element is h1. And the second is display inline elements. Display inline elements will take width up to the content. Here in this page we will give all the three things. So already we have given the h1. After this h1 I will give the anchor tag. This is anchor tag 1, and this is anchor tag 2. Now let's check the output. Here you can see the best example for the display block is h1. It is taken complete width, and the best example for display inline is anchor tag. It is taken content up to the width and the elements are arranged in the horizontal order. And the third is display inline block elements. The display inline block elements are the special cases in HTML. Only just 10 to 20% of the HTML elements are display inline block elements. The best example for display inline block elements are div element. Here you can see the VS Code has been opened. Now we have to create a new file in this front end folder. I'll write the name as alignments.html. So where is this file? Alignments. Here you can see this is the alignments.html. Now we have to first complete the HTML snippets. HTML head. In this head we have to write the title. The title is CSS alignments, and after the head we have to write the body. And in this body, first I will write one h1 tag. In that h1 tag I will write the class title CSS alignments. Let's execute this program. First open Google Chrome. Here you can see I have opened Google Chrome. So in this URL we have to write the file path of our HTML page. So our HTML page is located in desktop in the front end folder. In that front end the file name is alignments.html. alignments.html. Here you can see we got our lecture title CSS alignments. Now we will discuss what is an alignment. So first I will create one more h1 tag here. First I will write the h1 hr tag horizontal line. So here you can see we got the horizontal line. Now we will create one more h1 text after this horizontal line. So after the hr I will create one h1 text, hi, control s. Here you can see we got the h1 text with the value hi. Now I want to bring this h1 text to the center of this page. Here you can see this is the center of this page. I want to bring this h1 text here. This is called as alignment. Aligning the HTML elements to the center, left, right or top, bottom, all the sides are called alignments. We have to align the HTML text to any one position. Aligning center, aligning left, aligning right or aligning top, bottom, etc. So in majority scenarios we will use only two things, aligning center and aligning vertical. So vertical means vertically center, horizontally center. So if you select the vertically center, this h1 text will be placed here vertically center. From top and bottom it will be placed at the center of the page. If you select the horizontal center, this high text will be placed here. First we will discuss the horizontal center, how to place any HTML text horizontally centered. So we have the CSS property which is called as text align. So with the help of text align property we can bring this h1 text to the center of this page. Here I want to bring this h1 text here. So first we have to write the CSS property for the h1. So for this h1 we have to write text. Sorry, before writing the CSS property we have to open the style tags. I forgot to write style. In this style we have to write h1. So I will write the property name as text align. So here you can see text hyphen align. How you want to align these h1 text? I want to align this h1 text at center. Center means horizontally center. Now let's execute this program. So after hitting the refresh button, these h1 text will be moved from this left side to center of the page. Now I will hit the refresh button. Here you can see we got both the h1 text at the center of the page. From the right side we have the same gap, from the left side also we have the same gap. We have applied the text align center to the h1 elements. That's why both the h1 elements moved to the center of the page. So these text align property will be applicable to all the text tags, that may be h1, h2, h3 up to h6 and paragraph tags also. Now let's write this example for the h2 text. So I will create one h2 tag. In this I will write text as hello. Now let's execute this program. Here you can see initially the h2 text is aligned at the left side of the page. Now I want to bring this h2 text to the center of the page. How can we do that? We just need to write the h2 property in CSS and we have to write the text align property for the h2. We have to align all the h2 text to the center of the page. Text align center, control S. You can see here we got the h2 text at the center of the page. These text align will not only applicable to only body, this property will be applicable to the inside div elements also. Now I will show you how we can use the text align property in the inside div elements. So first I will create one parent tag, that means div tag. In this div I will write one h1. This is, sorry, we can simply write as div1. Control S. Now let's check the program. Here you can see we got again the h1 text at the center of the page. So we can align any h1 element to the center of this page using the text align property. So we have completed the checking of these text align properties for the h1 text, div element and h2 element. Now we will check this text align property for the paragraph. Paragraph is also related to the text tags. So After the div, I will create one paragraph. This is my paragraph. Control S. Here you can see initially the paragraph text is aligned at the left side of the page. Now I want to bring this paragraph to here. So we just need to write the p tag, and for this p tag we have to write the text align property center. Control S. Here you can see we got the paragraph at center of the page. So now we have completed the text tags. Now we will see how this text align property will work for anchor tags, because these h1 element, div element, paragraph element, all these are called block elements which will take the complete width. Now we will check the CSS text align property for the inline elements. Inline means it will take up to the content width. So first we will check the anchor tags. So I will write, this is my anchor tag. Control S. Here you can see initially the anchor tag is aligned at the left side of the page. So now I will apply this text align center property to the anchor tag. Let's check whether it is working or not. I will write text align center. Control S. Here you can see there is no change in the output. As I said, text align property will only work for block elements. Block elements means which take the complete width. Here we have used all the text tag examples because all the text tags, that may be h1, h2, paragraph, div, anything, they are all block level elements. So we can apply the text align center to the block level elements, but we cannot apply the text align center to the inline elements. So if you want to align text, if you want to write text align center to the inline elements, the first thing we have to do is we have to convert these display inline elements to the display block elements. So before writing the text align center, we have to convert the anchor tag to display block, because by default anchor tag elements are display inline elements. So that's why I will write display block. Control S. Now let's execute the program. Here you can see we got the anchor tag at the center of the page. Now we can understand that text align center property will only applicable to block elements, display block elements. Now all these are called block elements. This is the h1 block element, here h1 block element, h2 block element, div block element, paragraph block element. Anchor tag is the inline element, but we have converted this anchor tag to the block element by using the CSS display property. So the anchor tag is also came to the center of the page. So in the next video we are going to discuss about how to align the h1 elements to the left side and right side. In this video we have discussed only how to align the elements to the center of the page, that means horizontally center. In the next video we are going to see how to align the elements only right side. So whenever you add any new element, that will be started from here, and we will also discuss how to align the elements to the left side. So by default HTML direction will be left side only. Whenever you add any new element, the default direction for that element will be left side. That element will start writing from here only. So in the next video we are going to discuss about how to start the elements from the right side. So in the previous lecture we have seen how to center the things using the CSS alignments with the h1 element, div element, anchor tag and paragraph element. So now we are going to discuss about how to align these elements to the right side here. So we just need to replace only one thing. We have to replace the center with the right. So first of all I will remove all these things and we will learn by using only h1 text first. So we have only two h1 text. This is our lecture title and this is the testing purpose h1 text. Lecture title is CSS alignments, and for the testing purpose we have taken one h1 text with the value high. First let's execute this program. Here you can see we have only two h1 text, and I will remove all the CSS properties also. Here you can see by default all the block level elements are placed at the left side of the page. Not only block level elements, all the block level and inline elements both are placed at the left side of the page. So if you want to bring these elements to the center of this page, we have to use text align center. If you want to bring these text tags to the right side of the page. Here you can see, to here we have to use text align right. So now I will write the syntax for h1 text align right. That's it. Control S. Here you can see we got the both h1 text at the right side of the page. The both h1 text started from the right side of the page. For the first one, CSS alignments, and the second is h1 with the value high. Now we will check these text align left or left or not left. It is right for the anchor tag. Let's try this. Anchor tag. This is my anchor tag. Control S. Here you can see initially the anchor tag is also placed at the left side of the page. Now I want to bring this anchor tag at the right side of the page. So we just need to add one anchor tag CSS element, and here we have to write text align right. Control S. Now let's execute the program. Here you can see there is no change because anchor tags are inline elements. CSS text align property will not work for inline elements. It is applicable to only block level elements. That's why we have to convert these anchor tag display to the block. So first we have to write anchor tag display block. Control S. Now it should work. Here you can see the anchor tag started from the right side of the page. So like this way we can align the CSS properties at the center of the page, left side of the page, and the right side of the page using the text align property. So far we have seen the CSS alignment properties in the body. Now we will be discussing how this CSS alignment will work in the div. Div is the parent element. We will be adding one div. In that div we will add some child elements, and we will apply these CSS alignments to that child element. So we can know how this CSS alignment property will work in the parent and child tags. So I will remove all these things. Now I will add one div. In this div, first I will add one h1 text. This is div 1. Control S. So I will remove all these things. And initially the div is a block level element. That means it will take the complete width. Suppose if you want to permit div width up to something like 400 pixels or 500 pixels, we have to use the height and width properties. So for checking the CSS alignments, we should compulsory use the height and width property for CSS. So first I will create one div tag. So for this div, I will add the height as 400 px and width is also 400 px. To check whether the height and width are applied successfully or not, we have to use any one background color. So you can able to understand that. I will write the background color as orange. Control S. Here you can see the 400 width is somewhat bigger. Now I will use some smaller width. 200 width, 200 height. It's enough. Control S. Here you can see. Now it's looking good. The height of the width is 200 pixels and the width of the height of the div is 400 pixels and the width of the div is also 400 pixels. Now I want to bring this h1 text at the center of the div. That means horizontally centered. Initially it is taken the position as left side of the div. Here you can see from the left side it is started. Now I want to bring this element to the center of the div. So we just need to write h1 text align center. Control S. So these h1 text will be placed at the center of the div, not for the body, because this h1 element is located in the inside the div. So it will be acted as child element for the div. So the child element will be placed at the horizontally centered for the parent. Now I will click the refresh button. Here you can see this h1 element is exactly placed at the center of the page. And if you observe the top, we have one more h1 text. It is for this h1 text, the parent element is body. Here you can see there is no parent element except the body for this h1. It is located inside the body. And this is div1 h1 text is located inside the div. So the div will be act as parent element for this h1. Every child element will be aligned to this to the parent element, not body. So we will create one more h1 text in the div so you can understand better. I will write Java, Control S. Here you can see we got the h1 text at the horizontally center to the div. So because this is the child element and this yellow color orange color background is the parent element. Child element will be arranged horizontally centered to the parent element. Suppose if you want to use the right side alignment also, you can use it. If you use the right side alignment, this text will be started from here. So now I will use the text align right, Control S. Here you can see all the h1 text are started right side from this parent. For this element the parent is body, that's why it is started right side of the body. For these two h1 text the parent is div, that's why these two elements started from the right side of the div. So this is the difference between aligning the elements to the center of the page for the body tag elements and for the div tag elements. So first let's discuss the demo of the project. What are the topics that we are going to use and how can we use that topics? So first we will be having the bank name. So for this bank only we are applying the loan, and bottom of that bank name we are having the type of the application form. Here the type of the application form is personal loan application, and at the right side we will be having the bank address New York, America, and after the address we are having the date. This is the heading part: bank name, type of the application form, and address of the bank. After the bank details we will be having the personal details of the account holder. So this is the personal details section. In this personal details section we'll be taking all the details about the account holder, like first name, last name, gender, date of birth, and UID number. UID means unique identification number. So this is the personal details. After the personal details the account holder should enter his address. So in this address also we'll be having 3 input fields to take the values from the user, like area, street, pin code, and you have to select one country from the 4 countries: India, America, China, and Australia. Out of these 4, the account holder should select only one option. And after completing the address section, the account holder will be having the loan details. He have to give the details about his loan amount. So the first one is loan amount, second one is the account number, in which account you want to credit his amount, and the IFSC code of his branch, and the type of account. Here type of account is having 2 options: savings or current. Out of these 2 we have to select only one option, either savings or current. We cannot select both, because a person cannot have both savings accounts and the current account. And after the type of account we have the credit type. If our loan is sanctioned, the bank will credit our amount into our with the possibilities like cash or check. So here a person can select both cash and check. Here we have used the check boxes. At the type of account we have used the radio buttons, and at the last we have the tenure. After taking the loan, how many months you should require to complete that loan. So here have 4 options: 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, and 24 months. And at the right side he has to do his signature, and at the last we have the thank you form. So this is a demo of our project. So first we have to create a new folder in the desktop. So new folder, I will write the folder name as bank, or we can write as loan. So first we have to access this bank folder in the VS Code. Now I will open VS Code. Here we have to select file, open folder, and we have to select bank, select folder. So this is our new folder with the name bank. In this new folder we have to create 2 files. One file is for HTML and another file is for CSS. First I will create the index.html. Index.html, and for styling purpose we have to use the CSS. Index.css. First we have to complete the HTML formalities in the index.html. HTML head. In this head we have to write the title. I will write the title as loan form. Control S. And after completing the head part we have to write the body. And in the body, first we have to write our bank name. Here you can see this is the bank name, and we have to align this bank name to the center of the page. So we have to create one h1 text. The bank name is, I will write HTML bank. Control S. And after the bank name, we have to write the type of the form for which you want to applying. So I want to apply for the loan. I will write in the P tag, personal loan application. Here A is capital. Control S. Now let's check the output. First we have to execute the program. Local disk C, desktop, folder name is bank, and the file name is index.html. Here you can see we got the bank name and type of the form, HTML bank personal loan application. Now we have to bring these two h1 text and paragraph text to the center of the page. That means horizontally center. So we can achieve this thing by using the CSS alignment. First we have to assign CSS selectors for these h1 and p, because we may be using the more than one h1 text in this form. That's why we have to use the CSS selectors. So we can apply only styling to the respective h1 element. So here I will write the class as title, and for P I will write the class as form name. So for these two classes we have to write the CSS properties. Here in the index.css we have to write the CSS code. First we have to write the dot title. Our bank title is SR Bank, and we have to bring this title to the center of the page. That's why we have to write text align center, Control S. Then we have to add one underline to the bank name. Here you can see we have one underline. To get this underline we have to use the text decoration property. Text decoration underline, Control S. And for the type of form, that means the class name is form type, I think so, form name. For the form name also we have to bring the text to the center of the page, dot form name. So here I will write text align center, Control S. That's it. Now let's check the output. So here we haven't linked this index.css to the HTML file. That's why there is no change in our output. So first we have to link this file. So here I will write the link tag. In this link tag there is two properties. There are two properties. Rel, this is the style sheet, and href. In this we have to write the file path of the CSS. So the file name is index.css, Control S. Now let's check the output. Here you can see we got the bank name and the type of form at the center of the page, and we also got the underline to the bank name. Now we have to add the address of the bank at the right side of the page. So before aligning that to the right side, first we have to create that. So here I will create P. I will write New York, comma America. So this is the address. You can give anything. After that I will write the date, Control S. Now let's check the output. Here you can see we got New York and America and the date at the left side of the page, but we have to bring this to the right side of the page. So we can achieve this thing using the text align right. So for the paragraphs, so I think we have to give one more class to the paragraph. AD. I will write this as AD, that means address. Class BAD. BAD means bank address, because we are going to take address input from the customer also. That's why I will write the bank address as BAD. Here also class name BAD. Now I want to align these BAD class elements to the right side. So in the index.css we have to write dot .bad. Text align right, Control S. Here you can see we got the address and date at the right side of the page. Now the bank part is completed. We have to add one HR, means horizontal line. HR, control S. Here you can see we got one HR line. Now after the bank part we have three sections: personal details, address, and loan details. And I am going to use the div element for every section because we are going to place all these elements in one place. So for personal details I will be using one div, for address I will be using another div, and for loan details also I will be using another div. First we will be using the div for personal details. So after this HR, I will create one div. For this div, I will write the class name as personal details. Personal hyphen details. So in this div, we have the form. Here you can see input elements, radio buttons, date of birth, all these are called form tag elements. So first I will create the form. So in this form, first we have to write the label for the first name. Here you can see we have the first name and the input field. Last name, input field. First we will complete these two things. I will write label first name and I will write colon. After the label we have the input field with the type text. So we just need to remove these extra attributes. We have to add only type text. So let's check this. Here you can see we got the first name and the input field. Now we have to repeat this thing for the last name also. Before repeating we have to use the BR tag because we have to add the second input field after the first input field. So copy this thing and paste it again for the last name. So we just need to change the label name. Instead of first name I will write last name, control S. Let's check this. Here you can see we got the first name and we got the last name. Now I will apply the margin for the input field. Here you can see both the input fields are stretched. There is no gap between the input fields. Now I will apply the margin for both the labels and the input fields. So in this style I will take one input tag, and for this input tag I will apply the margin top as 10px, and for the label also I will apply the margin top 10px, control S. Sorry, here I forgot to write margin top, control S. Here you can see now it's looking good. First name, this is the input for first name. Last name, this is the input for last name. Now we have to use the input for radio buttons. We have to select the gender of the account holder. So here I will use the BR tag once again. Already we have used it. So now we have to create the label for gender. Control S. Now we have to create the input fields. Input type is equal to radio because we are going to select only one option from the multiple options. Type radio, and the first radio button name is male. Control S and copy this and I will paste it for the second one. That means female. Control S. And to select only one from these two, we have to give an attribute which is called as name. We have to give the same name attribute to these two input elements. So I will give the name as gender. So from these two gender input elements, we can select only one, name gender. Control S. Again I will use the BR tag, control S. After the input field we have after the gender we have date of birth. So here in the date of birth we have to select the input field type is equal to date. Instead of text we have to write date. So I will create one label first because we have to write the date of birth colon, and we have to create one input field with the type is equal to date, and we can remove all these things. Control S. Now let's check the output. Here you can see we got the gender, male or female. You can select only one, and we also got the date. Here you can see we can select date of birth. Now we are left with only one thing in the personal details section, that is not country, UID. UID means unique identification number. It is also one of the input field. So we can copy the input field from the top and we can replace it here. Copy and paste. We just need to change the label name. Instead of last name, I will write UID. UID, Control S. Here you can see we got the UID element right side of the date. That's why we have to use BR tag. After the input field date, we have to use BR, break tag, Control S. Here you can see our personal details section is completed, and we have to add one title to these personal details. So if you want to add, you can add or you can ignore it. So for the better understanding, we have to give this section as personal details. Here I will use the H4 because I want some smaller text compared to H1. That's why for the personal details section, I will add one H1 tag, not H1, H4. So you can see this is the personal details section. That means div personal details, Control S. Here you can see we got the personal details section, and these all input fields are belong to personal details. Now we have to end these personal details by placing one HR tag. So after the personal details, we have to give one HR tag, Control S. Let's refresh. Here you can see we got one HR tag. Now we have to create the address. We have to take the address of the customer, that means account holder. So we have to create one more div. I will write class is equal to address, Control S. And in this address also, first we have to write one label for area, and we have to give one input field to the user to enter his area. Type text, Control S, and we have to use one BR tag. So like this way only we have to take one more input from the user, which is called as street. Here I will change the label name, street. And after the street, we have to take the pin code. So once again, I will replace this area with pin code, Control S. Now let's check this. Here you can see we got area, street, pin code, but I forgot to add the H4 text for this div. So I will add the H4 text and I will write the name as. So H4, I will write address, Control S. Here you can see we got the address, area, street, pin code. Here I have not given the form element. Form element is optional. Suppose if you want to give, you can give, or if you want to ignore, you can ignore. There is no error if you do not use the form tag. For the first div, I have used the form tag, but for the second div, I have not used any form tag. Now we have to take the country from the user. So for country, I have used the selection list. We have to give 4 options to the account holder, and out of that 4, you can select only one. First, I will create the label for the country. Label country. Sorry, Control S. Now we have to create the selection list. I will write select. So here these are the optional attributes. We can ignore it. From this select, we have to give 4 options, or you can give any options. I will give 4 different countries for the user to select. First is India, as usual. So I will give some more options. I will copy this text and I will replace it with other countries. Second country is America. Third is China. And I will write the 4th country as Singapore. Control S. Now let's check this. Sorry, this is our output. Control S. Here you can see we got the country and we got some selection list options. But there is no margin for this country because we have applied margin to only input fields and labels. Here it is not an input field, it is a selector. So that's why we have to apply margin to select also. So here I will write select. For the select I will write margin top 10px, Control S. Here you can see now we got the margin for the country. Now we are left with the last section, which is called as loan section. So we have to take loan details from the user. So I will end this address section by placing one HR tag, horizontal line. Now I will create one more div, which is called as loan details. I will write class name loan details, Control S. In these loan details, first we have to take the loan amount from the user, not user, customer holder, account holder. Here you can see loan amount, account number, IFSC code. All these three are the input fields. So we can write one and we can copy from that one. So first I will write the label. I will write loan amount. Loan amount. And we have to give one input field to enter his amount for the account holder. Input type is equal to text. And we have to use one BR tag. And we have to repeat this thing 2 more times, because we have to take the account number and IFSC code in the input fields only. I will change just the label name. The second label is account number, and third is IFSC code. Let's check whether these three are created or not. Here you can see loan amount, account number, IFSC code. All the values are created successfully. Now after the IFSC code, we have one more radio button to select the type of account, whether it is savings or current. So we have to create one label. I will write the label name as type of account. Control S. And here we have to give 2 input fields with the type radio and name is equal to type ACC, means type of account. We have to give the same name to the 2 input elements. First one is saving and second one is current. I will write first one name is savings and second one is current. Control S. Let's check this. Here you can see both the savings and current are created successfully. We can select only one. If you select savings, you cannot select current. If you select current, you cannot select savings. And after the type of account, we have the credited type. If our loan is sanctioned, how the bank should credit your account. So we can select both options. You can select only one or you can select both, cash or check. So we have these, we can achieve this thing using the check boxes. First I will create one label. Credit type, Control S, and we have to give 2 choices for the account holder. Type is checkbox, and for the first checkbox I will write cash. You can take cash, or he can take check. Control S. Let's check this. Here you can see we got the credit type right side of the type of account. That's why we have to use the BR tag after the type of the account. BR. Control S. Let's check this. Here it's working. Credit type, check or cash, or we can select both. Now we have only one thing in the loan details, which is called as tenure. So in this tenure we have to use the selection list. So in the selection list we have 4 options. First I will create the label for the tenure. Label, tenure, and in this tenure we have to create the select. So in this select we have to write 4 options. First option is 6 months, and the second option, third option, fourth option. We have to change just only month. 12 months, 18 months and 24 months. Control S. Now let's check this. Sorry, here. So now once again we got the tenure at the right side of this checkbox. That's why we have to use the BR tag one more time. Control S. Sorry, I have written just direct BR. Control S. Here you can see all the things are completed. Now we have to add the signature of the account holder. At the right side we have to add the signature. So we have to create one paragraph and we have to bring that paragraph to the right side. Signature, and here I will write the class name as sign, and for this sign I will write the text align is equal to write dot sign text align write. Control S. Here you can see at the right side we got the signature. Now we are left with only one thing, that is thank you. We have to place one horizontal line and we have to write thank you. So after this div I will write HR, and in the H1 tag I will write thank you. Control S. That's it. Here you can see we got the H1 text with the thank you. Suppose if you want to bring this thank you to the center of the page, we have to assign the any one class name, or we can assign our previous class name. For the title of our bank application form, we have given the class as title. So here also I will give title. So it will get all the stylings for that tag. Class title. Control S. Here you can see we got the thank you at the center of the page. Our complete bank application or loan application form is completed and we are left with only one thing now. So from starting of the lecture you might be waiting for this thing only. Here we have the background color, but in this form there is no background color. So with the help of only one line only we can achieve that. We have to give background color to the body. Background color. So we can give any background color. I will give aqua. Control S. Here you can see HTML bank personal loan application. This is the address of the bank, New York, America, and the date. Now I will enter some sample details. First name is equal to Messi, last name is equal to Ronaldo, and the gender male, date of birth. So this date of birth I will select only this day, and UID is equal to, I will write something. Area I will write Football Street. Volley. Pin code 5001 or 2. Country America. Loan amount 50,000. Account number 1231336. IFSC code I will write ANDG. Type of account savings. Credit type I want to take loan either from cash or check. I will select both, and tenure I will put 18 months. That's it. These are the details of the customer, and he can give this application to the bank. So far we have discussed about the HTML and CSS. HTML is used to build the skeleton of the website. CSS is used to add the styling to that website, which make the website colorful. From now this video onwards, we will be using the Bootstrap for the styling purpose. So in this video we are going to discuss about the Bootstrap introduction. Let's start with the definition of Bootstrap. What is Bootstrap? Bootstrap is a open source CSS framework directed at responsive, and it is the mobile first front-end development framework. So Bootstrap is a free and open source framework. So we need not to pay anything to use Bootstrap in our application. We can use it freely, and it is the responsive framework. That means if you use Bootstrap in our application, we can run that application on both desktop view as well as mobile view. This is the main advantage of the Bootstrap in our applications. and it is the mobile first front end web development framework. Bootstrap contains CSS and JavaScript based design templates for typography, forms, buttons, navigation, and other interface components. So in Bootstrap, we will get the predefined elements from CSS and JavaScript like typography. Typography means heading tags like H1, H2 and remaining text tags like paragraph tags, etc. So with the help of Bootstrap, we can design that heading tags in less time, and it is also useful for the styling of forms. First one is typography, second one is forms, and the third one is buttons, and fourth one is navigation. We have not discussed about this navigation. In the coming lectures we will discuss about that, and it is also useful for many interface components. So in simple words we can say Bootstrap will decrease our time while adding the styling to the HTML components. We can make the best styling for HTML components in very less time with the help of Bootstrap. So by learning these kind of definitions, you won't understand anything. That's why we will learn everything from scratch and practical. So in the next video, we are going to see how to use Bootstrap in our application and different advantages of Bootstrap while using the CSS. In this lecture, we are going to discuss about how to use Bootstrap in our application. And there are two ways to use Bootstrap in our application. They are using the CDN links and downloading the Bootstrap files. In this lecture, we are going to see how to download the Bootstrap files and how can we add that in our web projects and how can we use that projects to add the Bootstrap styling. So first and foremost, we have to create a new folder in this desktop. New folder, and I am naming the folder as Bootstrap. So in this Bootstrap folder only we are going to learn all the topics about Bootstrap. So first we have to access this folder in the VS Code. Open VS Code. Here we go. The VS Code is open. Already I have opened the Bootstrap folder in this VS Code. Now I am going to create a new file with the name index.html. So first we have to complete the HTML formalities. We have to write HTML parent element, head, and in this head we have to write the title. The title is Bootstrap, Ctrl S, and we have to write the body, and in this body I will write one H1 tag and I will write Bootstrap introduction. Ctrl S. Let's execute this program. Open Google Chrome. And here we have to type the URL of our file. The desktop folder, we have to select the Bootstrap. In that Bootstrap, the file name is index.html. So this is our class title. Now I am going to create one button, and first we will add the normal CSS styling to that button, then we will add the same styling using Bootstrap. Then you can understand the advantages of Bootstrap over CSS. So let's create one button. Here I will create one button and I will write the text for this button as button with CSS styling. Ctrl S. Let's see the output. Here you can see a button is created with the text button with CSS styling. Now we will add some styling to this button using the normal CSS. First and foremost, we have to open the style tags in the head, style, and for this button I will write one class name. Class, I will write the class as normal btn. So I will access this button in the CSS dot normal btn. So first I will add the background color for this button. Background color I will add green or green yellow. Ctrl S. Here you can see a green color button is created, or you can add normal green only. Yellow is not good. Green. Yes, it's good. Now we have to change the color of the button. So in the green, the black color is not good. So I will change the text color to white. Color white. Here you can see text color is white, and we will design this button with the border radius as 5px. Border radius 5px. Here you can see we got the border radius as 5px, and the text is stretched into this button. That's why we will add some padding. So if you add padding, it will be apply all the sides. You need not to add padding left, padding right, everything. So I will add padding as 5px. Here you can see now it's looking good. So to get this styling, we have written 4 lines of CSS in our web page. So to avoid these situations, we have to use the Bootstrap. With the help of Bootstrap, we can get this style of button by writing only 1 line, and we are going to see that very soon. Now we are going to create a Bootstrap button like this by using the first way of using Bootstrap. As I said, the first way is downloading Bootstrap and adding that files in our project. So to download Bootstrap files, we have to open the official folder of Bootstrap. So here we have to type Bootstrap and click on this first link, and here we need to click on the download. So here we need to click on this compiled CSS and JS. Click on the download. So we can get all the files which are related to the Bootstrap framework. Here you can see the download has completed. Now we have to open this. Click on show in folder. So this is the file. Already I have downloaded and extracted it. After extracting, you will get a folder like this, Bootstrap 4.5.2. So open this folder. After opening this folder, click on the Bootstrap 4.5.2 dist. Here we need to select the CSS. So in these files, we have to select the first file. You can see only Bootstrap. You have to copy this and paste it in our project folder. Our project folder is located on the desktop with the name Bootstrap. So in this folder, we have to place the bootstrap.css. This is the cascading style sheet. So if you open the properties of this file, you can able to see it is a cascading style sheet. Here you can see .css file. We have to copy the bootstrap.css from the Bootstrap folder. So close this folder and get back to VS Code. So now we are in the VS Code. Now I am going to link this bootstrap.css to this index.html. So downloading bootstrap.css and adding to this folder is not enough. We have to link this bootstrap.css to this index.html as like our normal CSS file. So in this head part, we have to write the link statement. Link in the href, we have to write bootstrap.css, Control S. So now we have to create the Bootstrap button. So I will create one button. Already we have created the button with the normal CSS styling. Now I am going to create the button for Bootstrap. Button, I will write button with Bootstrap styling, Control S. Let's see the output. Here you can see we got one button. It is normal button because we haven't added any styling to this button. So you can add the normal CSS styling or you can add the Bootstrap styling. So now we are going to add the Bootstrap style button for this button. Already for this button we have written the CSS styling. So for this button I am going to use the Bootstrap class. So in Bootstrap everything are classes. We have to use the Bootstrap class names to our HTML elements to get this styling. So now I will use the Bootstrap class name as btn space btn hyphen success, control S. So this is one of the bootstrap class. In the next video and in the further videos we are going to discuss about the bootstrap class, and we are also going to discuss what are the different types of bootstrap classes available for the buttons. So in this video we are going to concentrate only on how to use the bootstrap in our web pages. So I have given one bootstrap class to this button. So if bootstrap was successfully added in our application, bootstrap styling with this class name will be assigned to this button. Now I will refresh the page. If any styling added to this button, then our bootstrap is added successfully. If we see the same output, then we have some mistake. Now I will click the refresh button. Here you can see the bootstrap styling is added successfully to our second button. So this is the normal CSS styling and this is the bootstrap styling. You can observe the differences. By writing 4 lines, we got this styling. It's not good. By writing only 1 line only, we got this beautiful button from bootstrap. So once again I will explain. Here you can see I have created one button with the text button with bootstrap styling, and I have added a bootstrap class which is called as btn gap btn success. The styling for this bootstrap class is already defined in the bootstrap.css. We are using the styling which is already defined in the bootstrap.css because we are linking this bootstrap.css to our index.html. So we need not to write any styling to this button. Already this btn success styling has been defined in the bootstrap.css. We just need to write the class name. So not only for styling the buttons, we can use bootstrap for styling any HTML component, that may be table, li tags, ul tags, normal h1 tags, divs, paragraphs, anything. For the example purpose only, I am using the btn, means button styling. So this is the way to use bootstrap in our applications in the first way, which is called as downloading the bootstrap files and adding to our project folder. In the next video, we are going to discuss about the second way of using bootstrap in our applications, which is called as CDN links. So in the second way, we need not to download anything and we need not to add anything. We just need to copy one link from the bootstrap and we have to paste that link, which is called as CDN link, in our file. So for this, I will create a new file in the bootstrap folder only. So I will write the file name as secondway.html. So in this also first I will complete the HTML head, title is I will write second way, control S, and here I will write the body. In the body I will write h1, I will write the text as second way of using bootstrap, control S. Let's execute this program. So instead of here index.html, we have to write secondway.html. Here you can see we got the h1 text with the title second way of using bootstrap. So first I will create one button in this bootstrap to add the styling. Button, I will write this is bootstrap button, control S. Here you can see one button is created in this web page. Now I am going to use the CDN link of the bootstrap to add bootstrap styling to this button. So to use this CDN link also, first we have to visit the bootstrap website. So this is the bootstrap official website, getbootstrap.com. Here we need to click the get started button. So for downloading we have to click the download button. That means for the first way we have to click the download button. Here we are discussing about the second way. That's why we have to create the get started button. So in this get started button we have to copy this CSS link. Here you can see we can able to see this heading CSS. We have to copy this link. You can able to copy from here, or you can simply select this and press Ctrl S. You have to copy this link and paste it in the head part of our HTML file. So I have copied it already and here I will paste it. In the head part we have to paste. Control S. Here you can see I have not downloaded anything. Of course the bootstrap.css file is there in the project folder, but we haven't linked this bootstrap.css to this secondway.html file. We have linked only this bootstrap.css to the first file, which is called as index.html. So here the index.html purpose is completed. I will close this. Now we are discussing and we are focusing only on secondway.html. So now I am going to add the same button, that means green color button. To get the green color button with the help of Bootstrap, we have to write the Bootstrap class name as btn space btn hyphen success. Control S. Let's execute this. Boom. Here you can see we got the Bootstrap button. This is Bootstrap button. Here we haven't downloaded anything and we haven't added anything. We just copied the CDN link. This link is called as Bootstrap CDN link. CDN means Content Delivery Network. The Bootstrap is delivering their content to our project. That's why it is called as CDN link. CDN means Content Delivery Network. Here the REL property means style sheet, because we are going to use this CSS styling. Whenever you want to link any CSS, that may be Bootstrap or normal external CSS file, we have to use the REL is equal to style sheet only. In the href, we have to paste this link. This link is called as CDN link. You need not to do any editing in this link. We just need to copy the link from the Bootstrap official website and we have to paste that link in our secondway.html. So this is the second way of using Bootstrap in our application. So up to now we have completed the introduction of Bootstrap. How can we add Bootstrap in our applications using the first way and second way? From the next video onwards, we are going to focus on the Bootstrap classes. How many number of classes are available in the Bootstrap? How can we use that classes to style our HTML components? And how can we decrease our styling time over CSS? So we have completed the two ways. Now from this video onwards, we are going to focus on Bootstrap classes. In this video, we are going to discuss about the Bootstrap classes, about the buttons. That means we will create some buttons in the HTML and we will add Bootstrap classes for that buttons. So first I will create the new file in the Bootstrap. I will write the file name as buttons.html. So here we can use the both ways. You can use the bootstrap.css or you can use the CDN link. If you haven't downloaded this bootstrap.css, you can copy the CDN link from the Bootstrap official website and you can paste it in the head part. If you want to download, or you can download. So that's up to you. It's your choice. So I will use the CDN link only. I will copy this link and I will paste it in the buttons.html head part. HTML head. First I will write title, I will write buttons, Control S. I will paste the Bootstrap CDN link. You can see this is the Bootstrap CDN link. Now I will create the buttons. First we will create the normal button, then we will add the Bootstrap buttons. So I will add body. In this body I will create one button. The first one is normal button. Normal HTML button. Control S. Here I will remove the previous one and I will write the name as buttons.html. Here you can see normal HTML button is created. I will write one h1 text for the class title. So I will write h1, Bootstrap buttons, Control S. Here you can see we got the Bootstrap buttons. We have only one button which is not applied any Bootstrap styling. Now let's open the Bootstrap official website and click on the components. Here you can see in the left side you can able to see the word components. Click on the components. After clicking on the components, click on the buttons. So here you can able to see all the classes which are used to create the bootstrap buttons. So bootstrap classes are not easy to remember. We have to practice as many as times to remember the bootstrap classes. That's why I am opening the bootstrap official website for the practicing purpose. So every time you see the class names here, you can able to remember very easily. So for blue color button, we have to use the bootstrap class name as btn primary. For this color, we have to use the bootstrap class name as btn secondary. For the green button, already we have used this button in the previous lecture. To use this green button, we have to write the bootstrap class name as btn success. To get the red button, that means which indicates danger, we have to use the btn danger. Here you can see all these classes are available in the bootstrap official website. We need to visit the bootstrap official website and we need to select the component. Here we are going to discuss about the buttons component. That's why I have selected the buttons. So this page is all about buttons only. First we will able to see all the classes about the buttons. So there are almost 7 or 8 buttons in this web page. We are going to discuss about all of them. First we are going to add the btn primary. So btn primary gives the blue background color. You can see primary means blue background color. Here I will create the class btn hyphen primary. Sorry, we need to create one more button, right? Already we have created a normal HTML button. So for bootstrap button we have to create the second one. Button primary. I will write button primary. The text is button primary. Let's execute this. Here you can see initially the text is button primary. Now I am going to add the class. The primary button will give the blue color for our buttons. btn. So this btn is common for all the buttons because we are going to indicate the button with the letter btn. That's why we are going to write btn for all the buttons. btn hyphen primary. This is the class for blue color button in the bootstrap. Now let's execute this. Here you can see we got the blue color button. To get this button here we have to use the br tag after one button. So here I will use the br tag, Ctrl S. You can see we got this button down with the value button primary. Now let's add the second button. The second button is secondary. That means there is some hash background color. We need to create the button. And first I will write the text button secondary, which gives the hash color background, white color text color, and the border radius 5px. Class btn primary. Ctrl S. Here you can see, sorry, instead of primary we have to write secondary. Already we have completed the primary. Secondary. Ctrl S. Here you can see this is the bootstrap secondary button which gives the hash color. Now let's add the third color which is called as success. Success gives the green color. Button. First I will write the text button success. Ctrl S. I will add the class name btn success. Ctrl S. Here you can see success gives the green color. Everyone knows success is green color. Now we are going to add the danger because wherever the success is there, danger is also there. So I will add the red color button danger. Ctrl S. Sorry, danger spelling is wrong. Button danger. So here also we need to write the same thing btn danger. Ctrl S. Here you can see we got the danger button. So we have some more buttons also. btn info will give the yellow background color. So I will copy this text and I will paste it at bottom. The fifth button is btn info, means information. That's why it will give the yellow background color. btn info, control S. Here you can see, I think it was updated. Initially for the btn info the color was yellow, but not yellow. For warning it gives the yellow. For info it gives some blue and the, I don't know what color it is, it gives some color. For warning it will gives the yellow color. So let's add the warning button. Button warning. So even I can't remember the Bootstrap names. So Bootstrap btn warning, control S. Here you can see we got the yellow color background color for the button warning. So if we write all these things, the day will end. So we just need to copy the class names from the Bootstrap official website. So when you practice, the class names will be remembered. For the first time we have to use the Bootstrap documentation. That's why I have opened the Bootstrap documentation for you. So if you want styling more, if you scroll down, you can able to see different buttons available in the Bootstrap. Here you can see Bootstrap tags. If you want to get these type of buttons, you have to write these class names. So for every button, the Bootstrap documentation will give the sample code. We just need to copy this code from here and we have to paste that. Here you can see we also have the outline buttons from the Bootstrap, which is a grateful feature. We do not have any background for the outline buttons. We just need to create the button, and if you hover on this button, that button background color will be changed to some other color. Here you can see this is one of the best feature from Bootstrap. Now let's add this. So we will add one Bootstrap outline button. First I will write the text Bootstrap outline button. So to get the Bootstrap outline button, we have to add the class name as, here you can see, first we have to write btn. btn is common for every button. That button may be a normal button, outline button, rounded button, anything. We have to add the first class name as btn. So I will write class name as btn. Then we have to write btn outline primary, because we are not adding the background color initially. After hovering only we are going to get the background color. That's why we should add btn hyphen outline primary. So for the normal class names we have to add the outline in between the normal class names. So initially we will add, for normal Bootstrap buttons we will add btn primary. For these type of buttons we have to add outline in between them. So I will add btn hyphen outline hyphen, which button you want? I want success button, control S. So first we will get the button without background color. When you hover on that button you will get the background color. This is the Bootstrap outline buttons. Let's execute this. Here you can see initially I got the button here. Whenever I hover on that button you will get the background color. Now I will hover on the button. Here you can see I got the background color. It's very beautiful. So when you want to add margin to the Bootstrap buttons, you can add normal margin here. So in the next video we are going to discuss about that, how to override the Bootstrap classes. For normal Bootstrap buttons there is no margins. Here you can see there is no margins for the button. There is a small gap. This is not margin. I have zoomed this window. That's why you can able to see like this. When I zoom in, the button size will be increased. In the next video we will discuss how to override the Bootstrap classes.
Here we need to write the file name, desktop, folder name is Bootstrap, and the file name is buttons.html. Here you can see this is the previous lecture output. We have with the normal HTML button which there is no styling, and we have some Bootstrap buttons. At the last we have the Bootstrap outline button which is used to get the background color on hovering. So suppose if you want to override this button success, for this button success there is no border color. You can see the border color is almost green only. There is no separate border color. For this button success I want to add the border color as black color. So how can we do that? Already we have applied the Bootstrap styling for this button. Can we override that styling? Yes. we can override the bootstrap styling with the CSS. In this video we are going to discuss about that. So first we have to access these class name. You can see for the BTN success we have to access it in the CSS. That means we have to add the style in the head part. So I think we need to create the one more file, then you can understand better. I will create one more file here, overriding.html, or we can write override.html. So for the better understanding purpose, I'm creating one more file and I will complete the formalities very quickly. HTML head title, I will write overriding, and body, first I will create one h1 with the lecture title, overriding bootstrap classes, bootstrap classes. Now let's create one bootstrap button. So I will write the class name as BTN success, control S. Let's execute this. So before executing we have to add any one way to bootstrap. So we can add this bootstrap.css, or you can copy the bootstrap CDN link. I will copy the bootstrap CDN link. So this is the bootstrap CDN link. You can copy from the previous file, override.html. In this head part we have to paste that link, control S. Let's execute this. So instead of buttons.html we have to write override.html, override.html. So I have not written any text in this button, that's why the background color is came, but there is no text in the button. I will write this is bootstrap button, control S. Let's execute this. Here you can see we got the bootstrap button, which is a success button. Now I want to add the black color border for this button. Initially we got some bootstrap CSS properties, like we got the background color as green, text color as white, and we got some border radius. So these are the three default bootstrap properties. Now I am going to add some more properties to this button. That means we are overriding the bootstrap classes. So how to override the bootstrap classes? To override the bootstrap classes we have to use the CSS selectors. Already we have given the class name for this button, which is called as BTN or BTN success. We have two class names for this button. First BTN indicates this is the button, and second indicates the what type of button. It is the button success. So you can use any one of these two class names. For the better purpose we have to use the BTN success only, because whenever you use the next button, for that button also these BTN will be common, but we can change the BTN type, that may be success or danger or primary, anything. That's why whenever you want to override the bootstrap buttons we have to use BTN success class name. So first I will write the CSS style. In this style I will write dot BTN hyphen success. So I am overriding the BTN success class. BTN success class is applied to this button. This is bootstrap button. So for this button I will add the border. So the border is 2px height, and the type of the border is solid, and the color of the border is black. So after writing all these things, this is the normal way of styling the buttons, but here we are overriding the bootstrap classes. That's why we have to add one more line, which is called as important. We have to place this symbol. You can see this is the symbol, and we have to write important. This statement is mandatory. We just need to add this symbol, and we have to write the important keyword, and at last we can write the semicolon, control S. Because we are overriding the bootstrap classes, that's why we have to write this important keyword. So if you do not write the important keyword, it may or may not work. I don't say it will not work, but sometimes it may not work. That's why in every cases we have to use this important keyword. Now let's execute this. Here you can see we got the border color as black for this button. If you increase the height, you can able to see the border very clearly. So I will write the height as 5px, control X. Here you can see now it's clear. So for this button 5px is very high, I will use the normal 2px only. So like this way we can override the bootstrap classes, that may be any class, btn primary, btn secondary, anything. So for the better understanding I will create one more button also. Button, I will write the text as btn danger. This is danger button, control S. And here I will write class as btn gap btn danger. Danger button indicates the red background color. Let's execute this. Here you can see there is no border color for this button because we have applied the border color to the button which is having the class name btn success only. We have applied the css styling to the btn success class name. So now I am going to add the dot btn danger. So for this btn danger I want to add the background color as green. So for the red button I want to add the background color as, not background color, border color, because background color is already applied. Border 2px, type is solid, and we have to write the symbol important, control S. Let's execute this. Here you can see there is something, there is no, we have some mistake. Let's check this. Here I forgot to add the color as green, that's why it is raising error. 2px first property, solid is the second value, and the third value for the border is color of the border. So after solid we have to write the color as green or green yellow. Here I am going to add the green yellow. Let's execute this. After hitting the refresh button we should able to see the green border color for this button. Here you can see we got the green border color. If you want to add one more color you can add. So instead of green yellow I will write black only because black is visible. Here you can see for both the buttons we have added the border color. That means we have overridden the CSS, not CSS, bootstrap classes. So like this way we can add the CSS colors, not only CSS color, CSS properties to the already applied bootstrap classes. So initially there is no margin for the bootstrap button. If you want to add the margins also you can add. Suppose I will add the margin left as 50px for the bootstrap success. That means wherever the green button is present, for that green button bootstrap, for this green button margin left to 50px will be applied. Now I will click the refresh button. Here you can see we got the margin left as 50px. If I add the margin right also, here the gap will be applied. There will be 50 pixels gap between the first button and second button. So now I will add the margin right, mr50, control S. Let's execute this. Here you can see we got the 50 pixels gap for the green button at the right side and left side. So here we have added the bootstrap margin also. You might have heard this word many times, I think so, like responsive websites, non-responsive websites, etc. So in this video we will be discussing about the differences between responsive website and non-responsive websites and how can we design the websites responsive. So first we'll start with the definition of responsive web design. Responsive web design is an approach to web design that makes web pages render well on a variety of devices and window or screen sizes. If you observe the first line here, responsive web design is an approach, or we can call it as method or procedure to design the websites that makes pages render on the any type of devices. That may be a computer screen, tablet screen, mobile screen, anything. So if you design any website with the help of responsive web design procedure, you can able to render that website on any kind of devices. That may be tablet, mobile screen or computer screen. So this is the main advantage of the responsive web design. So to achieve this responsive web design in our website, there are many ways. You can use the normal CSS flex boxes, or you can use the Bootstrap app. Then there are many ways. So the best way is Bootstrap grid system. In the next video, we will be discussing about the Bootstrap grid system. First, in this video, we should understood what is a responsive web design. So already we have completed the definition. Now let's understand the how this responsive web design looks with a real-time example. So consider you are building an e-commerce web application. So an e-commerce web application will have the first desktop screen. First we are going to design that application on the desktop. So the desktop screen looks like this. First we will have the search bar at the top. If you observe any e-commerce web application, Amazon, Flipkart, Snapdeal, anything, first we will have the search bar to search the items. Bottom of that search bar we will have the products. So in the first row, that means in a complete width, we have 4 products: P1, P2, P3, P4. So this is the desktop view. First we will have the search bar, then we will have the product list, and after the product list we will have the footer. So if you design any e-commerce application interface, the computer screen interface looks like this. Suppose if you design the same e-commerce application based on the mobile view, that means mobile screen, that application look like this. This is the mobile screen and the items will be arranged like this. First we will have the search bar as like this, but when you observe these products, every product is occupied the complete width on the mobile screen, but it is not occupied the complete width on the computer screen. It's occupied only 25% of the width. Here you can see 25%, 25%, 25%, 25%. So in the computer screen, 4 items arranged in a single row, but when it comes to the mobile screen, only 1 item in the one row. This is called as responsiveness. We have to change the interface whenever the screen is changed. So in the computer screen we have 4 items in a single row, but when it comes to the mobile screen we have only 1 item, because if you put all the 4 items in a single row, what about this empty space? Suppose if you put these 4 items up to here, 1 item, so 2 items, 3 items, 4 items, so it will be very stretched. So if your website look like that, no one will buy your product. That's why we have to make the responsive web design. So the website looks different in the desktop screen and the mobile screen, but the code is same. We have to write the same code for desktop view and the mobile view, but the output interface must be different. This is called as responsive web design. Now let's see the real-time example websites with the responsive web design. Let's open Google. Here you can see I have opened Google and I have opened one of the website which is a responsive website. Here it is also one of the e-commerce application. You can see we have 3 items in a row. This is the desktop view. Bottom we have the banner, you can ignore it. As of now we have to concentrate only on the products. So here you can see we have this search bar. At the bottom we have this search bar as we discussed in the example like. So this is the same example, search bar, products list, and at the bottom we have the footer. This is the computer screen. Suppose if you visit the same screen on the mobile view, we can able to see only 1 item in a one row. Now I will click on the mobile view. If you minimize this, you can able to see the mobile view. So here you can see this is the mobile view. You can see here first we have the search bar as it is, only width is decreased because screen size is decreased. So but we have only 1 item on the screen. Suppose if I expand this to desktop view, you can able to see 3 items on the screen. If I minimize this to mobile view, we can able to see only 1 item on the screen. This is called as responsiveness. When the width of the screen is decreased, the interface will also be changed based upon the screen. So when it comes to the mobile view, you can able to see only 1 product. When it comes to the desktop view, you can able to see 3 products. So in this website only we have one more example for the responsive web design. At the top you can able to see the nav bar. In that nav bar we have 5 links: home, mobiles, fashion, electronics and login. If you click on any link, it will take to the respective web application. Here you can see this page is all about the mobiles. In this web page also the procedure is same. You can able to see 3 items in a single row when it is in the desktop view or computer view. When you go to the mobile view, you can able to see only one item. So here there is one more example. In the navbar also you can able to see the complete width in the desktop view. When you minimize, the navbar will be changed to the respective mobile view. Here you can see we got one toggle. If you click on the toggle only, you can able to see the links in the mobile view. But when it comes to the desktop view, the output is different. So whenever you change the width of the screen, that means when you changing the width of the screen, that means we are changing the product not product screen. So whenever you change the mobile screen to computer view, the output will be changed. Computer view to mobile view, the output will be changed. So we are going to achieve these things using the responsive web design. So up to the previous lecture, we have designed all the non-responsive website. So I will show one example of the non-responsive website. When we are learning about the HTML and CSS, we made a project about the Bill Gates Wikipedia. Now I will open that project. Desktop, folder name is Bill Gates and the file name is index.html. Not index. Sorry, here the folder name is Bill Gates. I have opened the bootstrap. Bill Gates. Here you can see we have designed this website while learning the HTML and CSS. So in the desktop view, this website is perfect. We can able to see all the components, and we can scroll down, we can able to see every component in the desktop view. But when you open this website in the mobile view, you cannot see all the components clearly, because this is a non-responsive website. We have not designed this website based on the responsive web design approach. This is completely non-responsive website. If you want the proof, you can able to see this website in the mobile view. Here you can see the image is stretched to the right side. You cannot see the complete image. This is because of non-responsiveness. Whenever there is any non-responsiveness in the website, you cannot see the web page clearly in the mobile view. So here we can able to see only half of the image, and here also you can able to see half of the image. So we cannot see the complete website. So this is because of non-responsiveness. From the next video onwards, we are going to design every page with the responsiveness, and we are going to achieve the responsiveness in our website using the Bootstrap. In the next video, we are going to discuss about that.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget click the subscribe button and hit the bell icon. Like, comment and share. See you next time.